Hello, welcome back to your mat. My name is Amy and I'm here to guide you through a class on beating the heat. So it's August 1st, so for most of us, we're dealing with some heat. And that may be in the form of temperature, or you may even find this practice is great if you are feeling frustrated, irritable, frazzled, out of sorts. So it can also be for that. It doesn't have to be just if it's hot. But for the hotter months, we're going to get started right away. We'll start with a quote by Eric Butterworth. Don't go through life, grow through life. So let me repeat that one more time. Eric Butterworth, don't go through life, grow through life. And with that, let's get started. So today we're going to do some slower, more yin style poses. We're not going to hold them very long, but we're not going to get into that yang energy. So we're going to keep it low and slow to help with the cooling. So we're going to start out with, actually we're going to start on an easy pose, excuse me. So just sit any way that works for you. You can either sit cross-legged, you can sit on a block, on your heels, you could sit in a chair. And we're going to start with what's called cooling breath, and this actually does help. It acts like an air conditioner for your body. So if it's a really hot day, this is a great practice to do anywhere. So all you're going to do is you're going to purse your lips as if you had a straw in between your lips. So you like this. You have a little circle there. And what you're going to do is you're going to inhale through that little opening, like as if you were sucking through a straw. So inhale. Close your mouth, and then exhale through your nose. Do it a few more rounds. You can also, alternatively, you can curl your tongue if you're able to curl your tongue and suck the air in that way also. So much like a straw. So make that sound like a straw. And here we go. Inhale. Close your mouth. Exhale through your nose. A few more rounds. Do a couple more rounds on your own. And if you're already noticing that air that's coming in, it's cooler. So it's really great on a really warm day just to help give you a little cool down. Let's go another round or two there. And then let's resume normal breathing. And now we're going to come into bound angle pose. So that is bringing the soles of your feet together. You can have your feet further out in front of you, or they can be closer in. Depends on your flexibility today. So go ahead and sit up nice and tall here. And then on the inhale, go ahead and inhale, get really tall, open up your chest and your chin. And then exhale, fold forward any amount. Now, if you're really rounded, if you're more like this, then go ahead and work to just straighten that back. So you might be right here. This will be a really good place for you to be. But if you find you already have a fairly straight back, then you're going to go ahead and fold forward any amount. We're just going to hold that here for a few breaths. And throughout today's class, you're welcome to do any more of those cooling breaths throughout, or you can just do regular breathing. So whatever works for your body and what you're calling for. If you really like that, then go ahead and do that. Or normal breathing, whatever's best for you. Wherever you are, whether you're up or folding forward, we're really calming. Folding forward is actually very calming and cooling to the system. So in the summer months, it's best for us not to be doing really strenuous classes, or you can, but on a really hot day, sometimes what you really need is just to bring it down a little bit, bring the energy down. Go ahead and come all the way back up, and now we're going to straighten that right leg out off to the side. You can leave this left leg exactly where it is, or you can bring it in closer if you like. I'm going to leave mine out for today because it just feels good there. Go ahead and flex that right foot. Sit up nice and tall. If you're really rounded here, go ahead and stay here. If you feel it, you can go ahead and bend forward any amount. You can also bend that knee, and that's going to help you here. So go ahead and find what works for you. So again, I'm not saying that you can't do activities that are heating, but sometimes in the heat of the summer, it's best to do things that are a little bit more cooling for the system. Or again, if you're feeling very irritable and frustrated and any of those things, coming back to a slower, cooler practice like this, forward folds, these are much better for the body during those times. Inhale and come up. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a side stretch here. So you can bring your right arm down your right leg any amount. And you're going to turn your chest open as much as you can. And you may stay up more upright. And you can leave this left arm down, or you can also bring it up overhead, whatever you like, whatever's going to give you a nice stretch here. And you may find that whenever you are irritable, frustrated, whatever it might be, that's really just simply an indication that your fire element is a bit out of balance. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. We all have those moments. Go ahead and breathe here. So now you know, here's some tools to help when you feel like you're really fiery or it's hot. You just need to cool down a bit. Come all the way back up. Come back into bound angle pose for just a moment. And now bring that left leg out. Flex that left foot. The right foot can stay out where it is, or you can bring it in. You decide. Inhale. Either stay here upright, or exhale and go ahead and fold forward a little, any amount. Whatever feels good for you. So I hope that through yoga I can give you some great tools to help you in just your daily life and just general things that may be happening in your life. Things like, it's really hot in the summer, or I'm really irritable today, and what can I do about it? Instead of beating yourself up, here's some tools to use. Come all the way back up. Go ahead, now we're going to do our side stretch over here to the left. So go ahead and bring your left arm down your left leg any amount. You can stay more upright. We're really working to turn that chest open and looking up. And this left arm can come up and over, or it can stay dangling. So on this one, I'm going to go ahead and demo it with it dangling down to the right here. So whatever feels best for you. Looking up if that works. If your neck needs a little break from that, go ahead and look down, but try to keep that chest spinning open. Breathing here. Again, you can use that cooling breath if you like. And inhale and come all the way back up. And go ahead and bring your feet back into that bound angle pose for just a moment. Now we're going to stand up and do one standing pose here. And this is wide-legged standing forward fold. So if you know the pose, go ahead and get into it. If you don't know it, I'll walk you through it. Go ahead and give yourself a nice wide stance here. So we want to go really wide, so this will help open up the hamstrings, and it's also going to be a forward bend, which is very cooling and calming to the body, which is what we're going for today. So inhale and get nice and tall here. And then exhale, hinging at your hips. Go ahead and hinge forward and bring your hands down to the ground. And go ahead and halfway lift and look out in front of you. And now we're going to exhale and go ahead and fold in. So bring your head, the top of your head toward the ground. Obviously it doesn't have to touch the ground, but just facing toward the ground. Try to keep your hips and your feet all in line. Don't try to push your hips way back or way forward. You're really trying to just stay over your feet there. And breathe here. Just kind of dangle. You can have your arms wherever it feels best. So kind of play around with this. See, does it feel good to have your hands on your feet, your fingers on your toes, maybe on the backs of your legs. I prefer my hands to be down, just more stable for me. Whatever works for you, try it out. Play around. It's a practice. You have to play to see what works best. And breathe here a few rounds. You can always put a little micro bend in your knees if your hamstrings are really tight. Inhale, let's go ahead and halfway lift for a moment. And let's take one more forward fold in. And let all that go again. So really shake your head, yes or no. Give it a really dangle there. Just kind of let everything go for just a moment here. You should feel an opening in the hamstrings. Your lower back is opening a bit here. Your arms are actually getting a little bit of strengthening because you're holding yourself up. Plus you're upside down, so you have a whole different perspective. And I can tell you, being out in the woods, this is kind of cool to see the trees upside down. Inhale, halfway lift. And we're going to go ahead and sit down. So go ahead and bring that right leg in. Bend it underneath of you. And bring that left leg over top. Now, if this doesn't work for you, you can always straighten out that right leg in front of you. So flex that right foot and just have your left leg is now over on the other side of your right leg. So your left foot is on the ground. So whatever works for you. If it works to have your leg bent in, then your right foot is next to your left hip. Okay, so we've got our left foot on the right side and our right foot on the left side. I hope I didn't mix those up. Get nice and tall here. And then we're going to twist to the left any amount. So I like to use my knee as a lever here to kind of bring my body over to the twisting my upper torso around. So we're trying to leave the hips grounded and squared where they are, and we're twisting from the lower torso up. bring that left arm behind you, on the ground behind you. And we're just going to look over to the right here, the left for a moment. Breathing in. And then exhale, we're going to do a counter twist. So go ahead and stay here in this shape. And then just twist to the right. Again, if your bottom leg is out, it's okay. You can still do this pose the same. And then bring it back to center. And now we'll switch. So just switch the cross. So now my left leg is on the bottom. And I now have it bent so that my left foot is next to my right hip. And I'm stepping my right leg over. So now my right foot is on the other side of my left leg. Again, I'll demo this time with my legs straight out. So for those of you that just doesn't work for you to have it bent, you can leave it straight out. And try to flex this foot if possible. Sit up, get nice and tall. And then exhale. Again, giving yourself some leverage here with your knee. Go ahead and twist to that right. And bring that right arm behind you. And look over to the right. And breathe here. So wherever you may be practicing today, whether that's inside in an air-conditioned room, possibly maybe it's not as warm today, or maybe you're in the shade and you're outside, that is preferable. When you can practice outside, it just adds to your practice. Can't always do that, of course. And then exhale, we're going to do counter twist. So just twist over to the left. I actually got lucky this last week. It's actually been pretty warm here, and today it cooled off a little bit. So it's a bit ironic that I'm recording a Beat the Heat class when it's not nearly as hot, but that's the way it goes. And then go ahead and come back to center. And now from here, we're just going to lay back onto our backs. And we're going to bring our knees into our chest. So go ahead and just lay back. When you bring your knees into your chest, rock around here a little bit. Just rock from side to side. You can bring your knees around in circles, so you're actually circling the hip joint. You can go in the other direction. Really just kind of play around. Again, you got to play with your practice and see what feels good. So I like to roll around on my back. It helps loosen up my back a bit, especially before we're going to relax back into Shavasana. This is a short class, but you can fit it into your busy day, the end of your day, the beginning of your day, whatever, or anytime you just need to cool off, whether it's temperature-wise or maybe attitude-wise. So from here, after you feel like you've done what you need to do, go ahead and stretch out those legs long on your mat and your arms long on the mat, and really get comfortable here for a moment. We've got some time here, so there's no rush. Really drop into this pose. This would be a great time to maybe do some more of that cooling breath if you like. So inhaling through a straw. And exhale through your nose. You can do a few rounds of those. Whatever you do, just get comfortable here. Maybe an eye covering, a cooling eye covering, maybe even a washcloth would be great. So let's go ahead and stay here for a few moments. I'll let you know when the time is up. We're going to stay here and just breathe for a moment and just take everything in that we did for this practice. And it was a short practice, but you don't have to spend a lot of time to get some really effective work done and to feel better in your body. So I'm hoping after this class you get up and you feel a little bit more lighter, a little cooler, and a little bit maybe more open in maybe your hamstrings, hip area, and maybe just calmer in mind and body and spirit. So go ahead and stay there for another minute or so, breathing in and out of your nose, or do your cooling breath, or just take it in if you're outside and the birds are chirping and there's a nice breeze, whatever it might be. Stay here for a moment. If you have more time, please stay in this pose. Or if there's other favorite poses that you have, please do those. Add those on at the end. Make this your practice. If you really need to get going on with your day and you're ready to come on up, so go ahead and hug your knees into your chest again and give yourself a really nice squeeze, a nice big hug. We give everybody else hugs. We should give ourselves hugs more often. And then from there, go ahead and roll over to whichever side you like. Put your hands on the ground and help yourself back up. Come back up to a seated position whatever's comfortable for you. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that this class was helpful in helping you to beat the heat. I'll see you next week. Thank you again for joining me.